Hello, hello, hello. Hello, hello, hello. Good afternoon. I think I'm going to move this candle over just a little bit. Maybe right there. That's better. That's better. I'm going to plug the phone in so the battery can be charging. Man, look at us. I'm getting it all together. Oh, yes. And I can be sharing on. I can be sharing. Sharing is caring. Hi, Caper Girl. How are you, love? One, two, How are you doing? I'm just sending out the shares because sharing is caring. All right. How are you doing? Oh, I'm like trying to send it to like the 16th person. You can only send it to 15. And I'm like tapping on the 16th person going, why isn't it accepting this? Oh my gosh. And then I clued in. So that's why it's the 16th person. Oh, that was funny. I really tried though. I don't know. I might be sending it to people twice now. This is what happens. They should have made it better. That once you sent it to people, they were gone. They weren't on the list anymore. And then the list just would get shorter, right? And then okay, I've sent it to everybody. And, these are people on my list. I don't really want them to, I don't want to send out the live to them. Like my son's not going to come and watch me. So I don't send him one, but he's in my list because I send him lots of other things. Yeah. I think they could make the way that you share out the lives, they could make it better. They could make it better. Hi, Sam. How are you? How's everybody doing? Hello, hello, hello. Cool. It's beautiful hot tea. 333 hot tea at 333. I like it. I like it. Thank you, Bobby, for the like. Appreciate that. I appreciate that. Just waiting for some of the regulars to show up, and then we'll get going. Lots of things we'll talk about. Lots of things going on out in the world. And this is, safe space to come and hang out. How are you doing? Where are you from? I mean, talk about that too. You never know what's going to spark conversation. Just takes one word or one comment, and next thing you know, off and running. I do things differently. Like this isn't a live where I'm doling out cards. If you have a question, you can ask me a question, and I will give you my insight on it, or I will tell you what comes up within my knowing. Maybe I'll get a message for you. It's always possible. But I don't do cards right now. I've been taking a step away from that and just using my own intuition and my own ability to connect. I do also teach in this live. It's somewhat of a teaching session. So I'll talk about a bunch of things. And we also do embodiment practices or practical stuff within this live as well. So this isn't a live that you come and hang out with because you just want to, I don't know. There's some silly lives out there. There's lives out there that you could sit and have fun and stuff. But this one here and this will be fun. I'll make the education fun, but it is about growth here. about remembrance, remembering who and what you are and how you're meant to live, how you're meant to embody that. So yeah. Alrighty. I'm trying a new time spot too. So this is a different time than what I normally go live. I did notice that quite a few people did show up after I was live for about 5 to 10 minutes before it seemed like people found me, but that's okay. We'll just sit here and have tea. And I'll wait for somebody to converse with me. And then at a certain point, I'll just start teaching. We'll just go with it. I'm also broadcasting on YouTube up top and TikTok down on the bottom. So depending on which screen you're viewing from, you'll see me looking up or you'll see me looking down. And even if you're on TikTok, most of the time I'm looking down. I don't know why I speak to the names. Like I literally speak to your little icons, like the little names in your icons. So I don't speak to myself. I speak to you when you're down there on TikTok. And then when I'm speaking up to YouTube, I'm speaking up in this direction, which is just interesting. Interesting. So how is everybody doing? I'm starting a sourdough. How does what work? How does what work? Do you have a question? Do you have a thought? Do you have something you want to talk about? Where are you from? If you ask me a question, I'll give you an answer, possibly. Possibly. I always have to add that on the end because people have asked me some crazy things in 4 years. In 4 years of doing lives, there was a time when I did lives 5 days a week for 3 hours a day. So I was literally on TikTok for 15 hours. Hi, Titi. Thanks for joining the fan club. I changed that this past year and dropped down to 2 times a week. And then I changed it again because I went from 2 times a week where I was doing about 3 hours to maybe an hour and a half to 2 hours, depending. But it's all dependent upon everybody that's here, because if you guys are interacting with me a lot, then I'm going to stay and I'm going to have more conversation, right? I'm going to do more. But if there's no interaction coming back to me, then it's, I'll do what I came to teach or what I came to, share, and then I'll leave. Because I can only talk for so long with no feedback. I suppose if I went on a ramble, I suppose there is a possibility I could get rambling on. So yeah, I'm a seeker of the divine truth. That's an important thing in my life. I seek the truth and then speak the truth. That's just what I do. And that's my truth. That's the truth that I know it. That's the truth that resonates with me. But I also ask that anybody that is watching me, following me, learning from me, that you run it through your own discernment system, because that's how you remain sovereign, right? Don't listen to anybody that doesn't teach you that. Like whoever you're working with should be teaching you to remain sovereign. They should be teaching you how to do this for yourself so that you're not reliant on them for the rest of your life, right? If I can teach you, right? Oh, I don't do a lot of those prediction type questions, right? Because I could check in with yourself. Sorry, I was playing with my essential oil and I just threw the lid on the floor. So just give me 1 second. So I'll say it this way. I could try to predict, and anyone that you go to, this is just the truth for you, Kristen, okay? No matter who you go to, card readers, and I do card readings too. I've done card readings for years. No matter who you go to, a prophet, a medium, anybody that you go and see, they're going to be giving you a best guesstimate is all that it is, because there's so many different variables, right? I could be looking at the stream that if you make this decision, this decision, this decision, this decision, this decision, and he makes this decision, this decision, this decision, this decision, this decision, this decision, then yes, there's a convergence point. But I could look at it from a multitude of other ways, because you're your future is something that you create from the moment, right? It's what you create for the moment. And it's also two people involved in this equation. It's not just you, it's also him. So he has free will and all of that as well. So anyone that you go to, no matter whether it's a card reader or not, it's going to be a guess. And what I would rather do is teach you how to fall in love with yourself. And then if he is that person, great. He's going to meet you at a space of wholeness, right? He's going to be meeting you at a space where you know who you are, and you're not going to settle for anybody that doesn't treat you with the love that you treat yourself with. That's way more powerful than giving you a reading or flipping a coin and saying, yep, you're going to, or nope, you're not. Right? Yes. That's me. That is me. I would rather make you stronger, more like help you with your ascension, help you to be stronger, more confident, to remember your truth and love yourself, right? And that I would rather do that. So that's what it's like here. That's what it's like on my life, right? I'm about real change. I'm not about just giving you platitudes or, doing any of that. I want to give you real change. I want to help you to, navigate through whatever is, so you can get to the truth of who you are and love and accept that part of you, like the true you. Today we're going to be talking about the temple speaks in silence. I've been talking a lot about voice and I talk about frequency and stuff like that as well. Like that's a big part of, we are energy, we are frequency beings, right? We're frequency, right? It's sound and frequency. So I've been talking a lot about that this last little bit. All of the videos that I do, all of the lives that I do, I am broadcasting to YouTube as well. So you can always go to YouTube to watch the recordings. They're all available there. For each of the recordings that I do, I also create a companion journal that gets uploaded to a free group that I have on my website, which is linked in my profile, but it is Anshara'El, the name of my channel, Anshara'El, with no apostrophe. So Anshara'El.com. That's the website. So it's easy. If you're following me here, you have the first part of it and the rest of it's .com. So it's easy peasy. But the Temple of Light group is a free group. And like I said, within that free group, I put a companion journal that goes along with the teaching that I give today, like the information that I share today. And there's also other posts that are in there. So do check that out. It might be something that you're looking for. If you resonate with what I'm teaching or what I'm sharing today, then more than likely the stuff in the Temple of Light would resonate with you. And, I create a lot of things, but I create a lot of things because that's what I do. It's from me, for me, really. And I do think a lot of times, though, about how I have created so many beautiful things, so many powerful teachings, so many great activations, and, all kinds of things, like just really, really, there's a lot of wonderful things that people aren't accessing. And it's quite the shame. So definitely go check out the free group. It's free. That doesn't mean that the stuff that is in there is worthless. It's very, very valuable stuff. So go and check it out for free. Hi, Chexy. Hi, Bri Guy. Oh my goodness. Don't know if they stayed. Hi, Nathan. Chexy, you stayed. How are you? For some reason, a thumbs up is apparently not allowed on my site. I don't know why that's being filtered. And it's always silly. It takes so long for the one that is filtered for it to come up so I can see it. How's Paco? How are the hummingbirds? How are things in your world? Good. I figured as much. It was the thing you didn't know you were missing. Aw, perfect. Perfect. I love it. Hi, Rita. Oh, perfect. Perfect. Love it. Yeah, I've done a lot. I've changed a lot in the last 6 months. Like the last 6 to 8 months has just been just wow. Like just growth after growth after growth, and just remembering more and more and more of the truth and the truth of who I am. And it's been quite quite incredible. So yeah, but it's meant a lot of changes around me. Like a lot of people have left, and then you just have to get comfortable with that, knowing that when people leave, that it's opening up the doorway for new people. So the audience that I used to talk to has changed, and I think right now it's just looking for those people. I put out the intention that it reaches the people that it's aligned with, and that they show up here and that they get to hear this, like to hear the information. But I show up for me. I show up for me every single day, and I love my life. I love my life. And I'm saying that, like, I don't know what happened to me, Chexy. I have pickles and beets homemade that I made. I made my own sauerkraut. I'm making sourdough starter right now. Like, I don't know what happened, but it's been the best thing. Absolutely the best thing. So I've been quite enjoying it. Mhm. So yeah, you just have to know it's aligned for you. And if it's not aligned with you, just let it go and be like, it's okay. What is aligned with me will show up exactly when it's meant to. Right? Trust the process, trust the journey. So yeah, so today we're going to talk about the temple speaks in silence. And so I'm just going to open the transmission now. The voice without words. There is a sound beneath sound, a presence beneath presence, a light that arrives without movement. It is the temple, and it speaks in silence. When we learn to listen to what is not being said, we return to the original codes. Before distortion, before programming, before the noise of opinion or outcome, there is a radiant purity of sound, silent yet resounding. Silence is the first language of the soul. The temple within us does not shout, it does not argue, it resonates. To enter that temple, we must become quiet enough to remember how to hear. So the way is within, right? Like to access, like it is to go within and to sit in silence. I started because of the last live that I did. It was talking about listening as a sovereign act. And so it's been talking about a lot about the way that we are speaking and the way that we're showing up and in presence. And then, your frequency, your vibration, your resonance, like these are very powerful things for us to be working to be at the resonance that we are at our core, and through that remembering process. But that silence. So from the last episode, it talked about doing 6 minutes of silence each day. So in the morning when I get up, I have this routine that I go through where, I feed Cass. First and foremost, give the dog some scritches, give him some lovin's, good morning, and then make his breakfast, and then, boil the kettle for the tea and make my water. And then I say my prayers, because I say prayers, not the prayers that you may be thinking. I don't pray like, please God, give me blah, 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 blah. I actually ask that, no soul be forgotten, that, those who have endured harm, that, that they are surrounded in peace. Like I say things like that. So I make my water, I say those things, I do my energy work, and then I go outside and I put my feet on the ground and I sit there and drink my tea with no device. I watch the trees, I listen to the birds, I watch the squirrels, I see whatever's going on there, and I sit in silence. And that's how I wake up every morning. And you start to listen to yourself more. You start to hear your body. And, especially for women, right? A lot of your wisdom is felt within your body, right? You might not know or think about things in the terms of sound and frequency and vibration and all of that. Or, you might not think about your higher self or oversoul or talking language like that. But you might talk about, oh, you just had this gut feeling, or you just had this feeling, like you had, oh, my arm started to ache, so that I knew that this was going on in someone's life. I just could feel that something was up with my kid, or I just knew, like there was just a knowing that I had, right? Women talk in that language, and we're talking about our bodies because it's through our bodies that we feel that. So silence is a big practice. Silence is a way to connect with that temple that your body is. And when we bring our spirit into our body, we become embodied. That is how we bring heaven to earth, right? When we look at it in that way. So we're going to talk about the language of silence. Silence. Silence is the original sound. Before the first word was spoken, there was silence, vast, eternal, alive. Silence is not the absence of sound, but the presence of everything waiting to be heard. It is the womb of divine creation, the pause that births the word. In silence, we remember. In silence, the true voice is restored. Silence is powerful. Think about how much information you draw in from the world when you're silent but observing, right? When you're paying attention to what's going on out there without becoming absorbed into it energetically. And that's the problem right now, is we're so like in empathy overload, right? Everywhere we look, there is chaos and trauma and drama and fear and so much out there. Hi, G. I saw you come in and I'm like, hello. Right? I have nothing to say and I can't wait to say it. I love that. Right? And so sitting there in the silence and observing what's going on, but not absorbing the energy. And that's what we talked about last week about on Tuesday. That's what we talked about on Tuesday, is that we have to learn to listen with sovereignty. So we listen with a boundary in there. It's not, I'm listening to you to become invested in everything that you're talking about. Like we're not meant to be listening to the point of where somebody starts, talking, oh my God, are you for real? Like really that's jacking our nervous system. And whatever we choose to listen to, we're giving our consent to. And there's subtle agreements that we're making through that consent. Right. So we have to be listening from that space of sovereignty of saying, okay, I'm listening to you, but that's not mine. Right. I don't receive it into me. I hear you, but I'm not receiving the energy of it. Right. That's the way that we're supposed to listen. And that we still can be compassionate through that process. It's not about not being compassionate, but it's better for you to be compassionate from a space of sovereignty and allowing that person to come to that space of sovereignty than for you to go down to their space and wallow in victimhood and keep them in that space. Right? Like that's a powerful way to look at it. And, some get called about, don't call me. Right. So the temple does not speak to the mind. Sacred silence bypasses logic and mental grasping. Okay, it speaks in sensation, in breath, in knowing. The temple consciousness arises. catching on my hair. And I need to take a sip because, wow, I was going to crack there for a second. And I pulled it together, but I could feel my throat dried out there. And I just need a little tea. So I have notes down, and I have the YouTube up on the top as well. Yeah, I write show notes so I remember all the things that I want to say in it. Because otherwise I would forget all the things that I want to cover. I used to just go off the rails and then who knew what we would get for the show. But I wanted to create more structure because the people that I was with that had become really close to me, they had asked for more structure. So, and I'd felt the need for more structure too. So I decided that would be the best thing to do, is have an outline for the show and some keynotes. And that way there also, when I'm doing the affirmation parts, I don't have to remember them. I can just read them. I just have them written down. Remember. It's perfect. All right. So the temple consciousness arises when the heart, through the heart, not the mind, right? That we're heart embodied. Right? That's the seat of the soul, is through the heart. So when we're in the mind, it's in the logic center, and that's really operated through the ego center. You can tell when it's ego. But anyway, when the heart is the primary receiver, that's how our consciousness rises. And this form of listening allows us to receive multidimensional input through energetic vibration, and not through the explanation, right? Like not having to talk and explain ourselves, not have to convince through our logic center, not have to persuade or manipulate or convince or yes. Water. Hi, Mel. Hi, Mel. Oh. Or fix others. Exactly. We're here to fix ourselves. That's it. Many of us have signed up, and I'll tell you right now, if you think that you are here to fix others, guess what you're going to experience? A lot of broken people you got to fix. It is not my job to fix anybody. It is my job to fix me and to resonate from my truth and speak from my truth, because in speaking my truth, you're going to remember, because it rings a bell in you. Dom, oh my God, I got so excited. Oh, the energy I got. Oh my God, I love you. Hi, sweetheart. Sorry, got really excited. Some people's energy just hits you in a really good way. Hello. How are you? Oh my God, how are you? I think about you all the time. All the time. I think about you all the time. Okay, all maybe an exaggeration. There are moments where I may be sleeping and not really think, but I do think about you quite often. Oh, why are you so sick? Do you need to schedule a call? And I don't mean that a client or anything like that. I just mean, do we need to have a call? Do we need to get on the phone and have a call and I make you feel better? Not in that way. Not in that way. I'll guide you to how to make yourself feel better. I'm just a second ago, I'm talking about how I don't fix anybody. I don't heal anybody. Everybody does it for themselves, right? I'm just the, but would you like some TLC? Okay, let's do that then. Yeah. Let me know when you're free. Just send me a message on whatever one, Facebook, doesn't matter. Send me a message somewhere. Just letting me, you can even message me, but send me a message somewhere. Love you, Texie. Have a beautiful evening. Send me a message when you're free, and yeah, and not a problem. Hi, Miss Kitty. I love that picture of you that you have as your profile picture, because I can remember the whole picture, seeing the whole picture and not in tiny little thing like that. And you're so cute in it. The video from that was hilarious. Okay. Stillness is a portal, not a pause. All right. Stillness is not the lack of activity. It is a frequency gate that actually shifts the entire field. You're welcome, my love. All right. It harmonizes the nervous system, sitting in that stillness, right? Rather than engaging. Think about when you're sitting in your sovereignty and you're not taking somebody else's energy in or pushing your energy into somebody else's space, right? There's many of us that have like savior or martyrdom things that we're working through. And in those places, we think that we have to heal everybody or save everybody. So we're constantly putting our energy out there like, come on, come on, come on, come on. I got you. I got you. I can help you. Right. Like we were doing that all the time. And, you know, whereas the other people there, you know, and I've been in both of those spaces. I've been, you know, I have thought that I was going to help all kinds of people and I was going to heal all kinds of people. And I was going to, you know, help all kinds of people with their trauma and stuff like that. And, you know, I can't help you. You help you. I can just give you some information and some guidance, right? I can give you the information, but you have to put it into practice. That's the number one thing that people don't get in them. And then that is a lot of times what manifestation fails to teach us, right? That when we are doing the manifestation, your belief system has to align. Absolutely, it has to align. Your vision has to be there. Like you have to envision what it is that you want. But you know, when they talk about how you have to feel as if you've already got it. Yes, it's great to have the feelings of gratitude or the feelings of success. It absolutely does help. These are like you're stacking on, you're making it. But you know what you also have to do? You have to embody it. You have to activate it. You have to take action on it. So if somebody who has, you know, million followers, if like you have to be doing something, like you have to have a channel, you have to be putting content out there, you have to be giving a reason for people to follow you, right? It's not like you can just make an account, sit a picture on it, and then do absolutely nothing but I believe I'm going to have 1 million followers, and people are just going to follow a channel that's not doing anything. Yeah, I have a lot of energy. I definitely have a lot of high energy right now, for sure. I'm glad that gave you that little boost. It's because you feel the love. You're like, I feel she loves me, because I do. So yeah, so we have to take action on it. We have to embody it. And I teach embodiment, right? You're not going to get there if you don't embody it. Hello, Crystal. How are you, love? Did you like your little soul message? Like Pelter, as soon as she comes in the door. Hello. How are you? You're welcome. Yeah, there was, I don't know what it was. It just hit me today. It just came to me today. And I was like, yeah, I'm just going to send it to you. I'm good. I'm good. I'm making sourdough bread today. Well, I'm not making the bread. I just started it. Yeah, I don't know. I get little pings sometimes. That's what I call it anyway. It's just like ding. I'll see somebody or I'll be talking to somebody or something like that. And I get a little ping of a message. And sometimes that's just knowing that I'm going to talk to them about maybe a soul letter or something like that. But with that one, I just knew it was a smaller message. So I was just like, I'm just going to give that to her. Like that's, yeah. Hello, Vikram Akash. Yeah, I'm doing all kinds of things, Damya. All kinds of things. I have homemade pickles. Like I have a garden. I have homemade pickles. I have herbs. I have homemade beets. I have homemade sauerkraut. I have fermented vegetable and fruit. I'm making coconut yogurt right now and sourdough starter. Which reminds me, after this live, I have to burp my beets because they need to be burped for they need to be burped for a bit. You gotta let the gases off of the jars. So anyway, I have to do that. Yeah, I don't know what happened when I moved here. When I moved here, I just boom. I make like really, really amazing foods. I'm doing all these holistic things. I made my own cleaner. I'm getting ready at some point to start an apothecary. I will have a full apothecary with like shampoos and all kinds of different things, like shampoo and conditioner and other stuff. It's coming. I just need the resources to be here so I can start doing that stuff, because it takes money. It takes investment. It always does. So yeah, so anyway, I'm waiting for the resources to come in so I can invest in the items for the apothecary. But it is planned. I have recipes that I've already started building. I think at some point I'm going to have my holistic cookbook of some sort, right? That'll have how to do all of these fermented foods. And most of my dishes are vegan or vegetarian. And there are some meals where they might have like, if they have anything, it would be like the animal byproduct, like cheese or butter or milk or eggs. Right. And eggs are not fertilized. Right. So eggs are not fertilized. So I don't put them in the category as living like a cow, which would be alive. That then was made dead. And so anyway, I'm not no meat. I'm not a vegan. I'm not actually a vegan at this time anyway. I say that I am low meat, or like that's what I classify myself as, is I'm just a low meat eater. I don't actually have any meat in my house. So if I did eat meat, it would be because I went to someone's house for dinner and that's what they were serving. And I don't know if that will stay for long. I don't really go to people's houses too much, so I can't even say how that would be. I might go to their house and be like, yeah. But one thing I will say is I will not eat takeout food, and I will not eat pork. I will not eat those things at all. At all. Hi, Anan. How are you? Yeah, no, thank you. Nope. I won't eat a lot of like, yeah, there's a lot of things I won't eat. There's a lot of things. Yeah, that just, give me the heebs. I'm fantastic. So we're talking about the temple speaks in silence and how like your body is the temple, right? So we were talking about that. And sacred presence is the new language. We are moving beyond external guidance and into embodied resonance. That's what we're moving for in the awakening, right? As I awaken and I become sovereign, I go to myself. I'm not seeking outside of myself for a savior. I'm not looking outside of myself for anything, because I know that it is found within and I am whole. And I've started to remember, and I remember the truths, right? It's remembering the truth of your origin, of the divine blueprint, of all of those things. That's what we're working towards. And that's the awakening. I keep thinking it's raining outside because it kind of looks a little bit cloudy on that side of the house. And I think it's just my fan that's making it sound like it's raining. So the more silent that we become within, the clearer we can feel the clearer that we can feel that exact frequency and signature of truth, right? Truth resonates with you. It rings a bell, especially like when we're talking like divine truth. We're not talking about how there is that polarity of truth, right? It's, when you have that picture of the person that's sitting there looking and the one's going, that's a 6 and that's a 9, right? And the debate is, it could be either, right? This person, it's true that it's a 6. This person, it's true that it's a 9. But the person that wrote it down as a 6 or a 9. Like there was what it was written down with is the truth of that number. So there is a truth that exists, even though there is a perspective that can be different. So while their perspectives are both truth, there is a truth of a truth. Right. And we bypass that part of it. They like to give us parts of those things, right? Like the jack of all trades, but the master of none. But often they are more successful or something. There's something that is extra on that particular message. I can't remember it off the top of my head, but there is more to it that, that's missing out on that for sure. So there is the truth of the truth, and that resonates. It rings like a bell in your body. You just know what the truth is. So if somebody came to you and they said that, try to think of something that, oh geez, trying to think of something that would be a good example to use as something that someone could come and tell you that you'd be like, yeah, that's definitely not true. Or someone could say in the other end too, this, and you'd be like, yes, that's absolutely true. Right. But within your body, it resonates within you. So by being clear, we can feel that in our bodies more clearly, is the point of the silence. So temple listening allows us to attune to presence as instruction, to recognize that how something feels is the message, right? When you think about, if we, when we go back to, because we were, it's so far off, right? Like I'm thinking about how far off we are from where the information is that we were given, right? Big Bang Theory, evolution from single-celled organisms to multi-celled organisms to all of a sudden there's apes, and then the apes ended up becoming, into us. And we're the only ones that have evolved like that over all of the eons and eons and eons. So that's one theory, the theory of evolution, right? And then you have the God theory, and that's the God theory that's seated as the theory here, and that, God spoke the world into existence, and, on the first day on the, and so on and so forth. God said, let there be light, and then created all the animals and created everything else that was created. And there is truth to that, right? That resonates. There is truth to that. But is it the whole truth? No, it's not the whole truth. And that's where they get us, right? They don't go through that. Then they, when they try to look at what our history is, they try to tell us that, we were and hitting things with, and like we were very archaic. We've never been archaic like that. We've never been archaic. Not like that. Hi, Mariana. And hi, Carolyn. How are you guys? We've never been like that. Right. So there's certain things that we need to understand the truth of. And when we learn that truth, it resonates, right? It rings in our soul like a bell, because it's the truth of the truth. Many of us, if that's not resonating, it could be because you're not at the level to be able to handle that truth. So your body or your ego can be protecting you from it, at your own, of course, detriment as well, because you need to have those experiences of remembering so that you can grow through your knowledge. Because the more that you remember, the more embodied you become to your truth, and the more that you decide to walk as that, right? Embody that. So the temple does not need to convince you. It only asks you to become quiet enough to remember what you already know. So in the silence, the truth will rise, and you will know your truth. So sit in silence. Give yourself that 6 minutes in silence in the morning, and just sit there and don't interact with your devices. Don't interact with TV, or try to distract yourself with anything. Just sit in silence and see what comes up. Ask yourself what you should be listening to, right? That was what we talked about in the last session, or the last episode on Tuesday, right? When we were here on Tuesday. So the embodiment practice that we're going to go through, because like I said to you early on in this episode, I'm about action and embodiment and activation and ascension, right? It's all about taking action on these things. You can't think your way to enlightenment. It's not the way that it works. There's things that you actually have to do, right? There's and even sitting in silence is taking and making that, and that's an action, right? You're choosing to sit in silence, to hear what is there beyond what is being said or what is being sent out from all kinds of other devices and situations. You're hearing within yourself, but you're also hearing within the environment. And that's what you're doing when you sit in that silence. So we need to do the embodiment. So here, that's what we do, right? So sitting inside the silence is what today's embodiment practice is. So first off, you want to create that inner sanctuary. So sit in a quiet space with your eyes closed, and you're going to place your hands over your heart and whisper, I now enter the temple. Okay, so this is how we're entering into that silent space. The breathing that you're going to do is just a box 4. And for those of you that have been with me for years, I've talked about the box 4 numerous times, but it's a breathing pattern where you inhale for 4 seconds, hold for 4 seconds, exhale for 4 seconds, and then hold for 4 seconds. So each side of the box, the inhale, the holds, and the exhale are all the same length, hence the box. So you're going to do that for 4 rounds. So just keep the number 4 in your head. Then you're just going to anchor into your presence. You're just going to let go of trying to do anything and allow the silence to just envelop you, right? Notice where in your body you feel the most aliveness as you're doing this. And then you're going to ask and listen. And this isn't asking out loud. It's inside your head silently, right? Hello, love. I'm doing well. How are you, Edie? You're just going to silently ask, temple within, what do you wish to show me? Then wait. Don't rush. Trust the answer will come beyond words. And then at the end, you're going to seal the practice by doing prayer. I know, right? By your prayer mudra, right? And you're just going to put your palms together and say, I carry the silence with me. Hi, Tessity. I walk as the temple. That's it. That's it. You have the instructions now. You have the instructions now. So you can do this every day. It's so simple. It's so easy. 6 minutes. 6 minutes. That's it. 6 minutes of silence in the morning. 4 rounds of breath. That's it. Right? Sitting there, close your eyes, enter the temple, right? We're going to have a call soon, right? Well, it's actually been, I started the live at 3:30, so it's been actually like 45 minutes. But we just did the embodiment practice. We're talking about silence and sitting inside the temple in silence, the embodiment aspect, right? Like I can give you all kinds of information and knowledge, but you actually have to embody it. And this is a very important embodiment practice. And that is the practice of sitting in silence and just listening to what's around you, feeling with your body. What might you hear? You have nothing to fear but fear itself. You know, that's a really, really truthful, actual, honest thing. Right? Because it's your belief in the very thing that it is something to fear that gives it power over you. So it's your belief, the fear, that is the fear itself, that you've given it the power to have that over you. And we do it all the time. We give lots of people power over us just by what we say or what we believe, right? And then we give people all kinds of access. We wonder why some of us struggle, and yet we said, oh, I'm going to help heal this person. I'm going to heal this person. I'm going to heal all these people. And that's not your role or your job. Next thing you know, you're sitting there with all these people coming to you for healing, but not necessarily because they want to heal themselves. They're coming because they want you to heal them, right? They're going to fit the dynamic of that. And you're not meant to do that for them. They have to do it themselves. The only way that you heal is through your own stuff, right? You're the one that has to do the embodiment. So I'll go over the embodiment practice again, since we got a bunch of people that came in at that time. So you're going to create your inner sanctuary, right? That's by sitting in a quiet space with your eyes closed, and place your hands over your heart and then whisper, I enter my temple, or I enter the temple, right? I now enter the temple. And then you're going to do box 4 breathing for 4 rounds and anchor into your presence, right? You're going to let go of trying to do anything. You are just being, and notice in your body where you're feeling the most activity, the most aliveness. Okay, you're just noticing it. And then you're going to ask, temple within, what do you wish to show me? And just feel what comes up. Sensations, word. It's going to probably be beyond words. You're going to feel sensations. You're going to have a knowing. There's going to be a sensation. Something's going to come up. And then when you're done, you're going to put your hands together in prayer, and you're just going to say, I carry the silence with me. I walk as the temple, and go about your day. 6 minutes of silence in the morning. It's a beautiful practice. Start listening to your body. That's what, especially, like I said, especially with women, right? Women, we feel with our body. If you ask some woman, if you say to them, like, how'd you know that your kid was sick? I just felt it. I just felt something was off. Or, oh, I got this ache in my elbow and I just knew it was going to rain. And it's not the person that has the, the arthritis. That's like, I got that ache, it's just, you feel it within your body, right? You feel it all within your body. All right. So I'm going to talk about some of the questions that, the common questions and answers around this topic. Okay. So what if silence feels uncomfortable or scary? And a lot of people have that. And I've talked about this for years, because when you're in the trauma space, when you have issues with silence, it's typically because of the traumas that you experience in that when you sit in silence, when your parents would go silent, when there was quiet all of a sudden, that usually preceded something bad happening. So thereby we just got afraid of the silence. We also have sayings, like belief systems in the world, and things that people actually say that absolutely contribute to that, right? That, the calm before the storm is an example of a saying that is spoken, that gives us a belief system that we really believe that it's going to get quiet, or that it's going to get silent, or that when it gets quiet, something bad is going to happen, right? So, and when we go quiet, we tend to have to feel things, or we hear ourselves, and we're not ready to face that, right? Hi, Crystal, how are you? I was trying to get to a spot where I was like, can I break my train of thought now? Can I stop the channel now? So that discomfort that you feel is often that unprocessed emotion that is surfacing for you to witness it. You just have to witness it, right? Good. Right? So you want to begin with 1 to 2 minutes a day sitting within that, right? And most people fill silence to avoid the truth. That's a powerful statement. That I'm going to make a card out of that one. I got to take that one right now. I'm going to take it. That's a good statement. We got to have that statement on a card. That's got to be a post all on its own. Sorry, guys. That's a good one. It's a good one. Most people fill silence to avoid their own truth. That's what we numb out from. That's what we avoid, right? If you sit in the silence 6 minutes a day, you're going to hear so many truths. You're going to feel so many truths. Just let them go. Let go of the emotion. Let it flow. Let it go through you. Know that you're transmuting it, and let it go so it can't keep bothering you, right? Let your body, so start with the 1 to 2 minutes. Let your body acclimate to that silence before you work yourself up to doing the full 6 minutes in silence. And over time, silence actually becomes the safest, most nourishing presence you know. I love being in the silence. I feel so many things, and when you go around other people, you got to go around and deal with other people's energy. You've got to deal, the noise is just noise all the time, right? Like there's so many things that we're talking about that don't even need to be talked about. Like it's just filling space with noise, right? I don't know how many people, like my ex used to have the TV on all the time. And I'm like, oh, the noise, like, why can't it just be quiet? Right? Like, it's just, the silence becomes a very beautiful space. When you're in that space of silence, you can feel and sense things so much more readily, right? So much more easily. So can silence really transmit guidance? Yes. Silence is multidimensional frequency field. In that field, your oversoul guides and divine memory can speak directly through sensation, knowing, or light encoded impressions, right? Words are just one method, and silence is the one that often carries the purest signal, because it's not coming through the distortion of language and how much our language has been distorted through time. Like it's wow. Wow. When you think about just, like I'm trying so hard not to use the word week to represent 7 days, like I'm trying really hard not to use that. If I'm doing a course, I'm trying to call them sessions or phases as opposed to, like something else rather than calling them weeks, because I don't want to be seeding that information. It's a vibrational structure, right? Its sound has a structure. When that person speaks into the water and then freezes it and you get those fractals from it, that's showing you the fractal of that word, like what that word resonates as sacred geometry. It's powerful, right? So we're being very careful with your wording, right? Don't speak on things like last time we were talking about, don't even be listening to the things that aren't in alignment with you. Why are you giving your ear to toxicity? Why are you giving your ear to things that are completely out of alignment with you, right? And then if you give your ear to it, do so with a boundary up, that you're not giving your emotion to it and your total attention and awareness, so much so that next thing you know, you're sitting in their energy field. So if someone comes to you and says, oh my God, this bad thing happened, you don't go, oh my God, that's terrible, and then sink in there and spiral downward with them, right? If you stay in the space of, you can be compassionate, but keep your sovereignty, right? I'm somebody that feels like I did that. Oh, shoot. Give me my, for some reason, it's being really, really picky with the puzzle piece. Nice. Nice. Good stuff on that book, right? That's awesome. So I have my ankle in a weird spot. It hurts now. Right? YouTube's being quiet tonight, guys. Just saying. They're just being quiet. That's okay. Right? Yeah. Okay, so can it really transmit silence? Yes, silence is a beautiful transmitter. So how do I know if I'm receiving from truth or imagination? And many of us have that when we're sitting in silence and you hear, a message, or you receive that intuition, or you receive that. And some of us are spoken to, right? Like you actually hear it in words, although mostly you receive it in almost like a resonance of knowing. It's not, I don't know. I'm sure that's how telepathy is, where it comes in as more of just a knowing of what the message is, as opposed to hearing them say, thank you for inviting me over to dinner, right? Like you're not getting that information through their brain. You would just get the feeling of that they are thankful that you've invited them, right? So that's the kind of, I don't know why all of these things are still blocked. Like this is so silly. I don't know why they would say that's a flagged comment. Silly. And then it always takes forever for the flagged for it to reveal itself so that I can unflag it, unless somebody else unflagged it. Okay, thank you. I don't put any filters in. I haven't put any filters in my live. I don't know where they all came from, but they're, I shouldn't say I haven't put any. I probably put a couple. Right? Like if somebody was hating on me, then I would obviously not be wanting those. Like that'd be bad. But there's certain things like I'm sure we all know the biggest, most infamous N word. I would want that to be blocked, but I think that should be just blocked as a system thing. But that's, yeah. Thanks was filtered. Nice. The thumbs up was filtered because that's what someone put was a thumbs up and they filtered it. So how do I know if I'm receiving from truth or from imagination? Well, truth feels calm, expansive, and grounded. When you're, even if it's new or surprising, it's still, you feel it in your body. And that's the problem. I've talked with people and I've done things to activate them, or I've given them information, and their body, they're like, their body's saying, I know. And their brain's saying, who are you to think that you're that? Or who are you to, like to do that? And it's the ego is coming through the voice and saying, shh, you can't do that, because it's trying to keep you in the position that you're in because it feels safe there. Your ego is existing in the level, in a good level at that, at that space. Your ego would love to keep you there. So when it's your imagination, though, it feels scattered or it feels reactive. It can feel anxious, or like the energy can feel kind of, right, all over the place, right? I guess scattered is another way to say that, all over the place, right? And yet it does, it has that reactive, like you're reacting to something, right? Hello, my love. Oh, yeah. They said to me, have 808 of those. I thought I had 888, right? So I put it up so that it would be 888. That's the only reason why I did that. I was like, I'm just going to make it 888. Hello, love. I saw you, but I was like, I can't, I got to go do my stuff. Yeah, I'm trying to change my time either to 3:30 in the afternoon or 6 or something like that. But I'm just trying to see this week, right? Yeah, it's a change for me too. I have the whole day to do everything. And then in the afternoon, I have my lives. It's definitely different. I don't mind it. But I've been trying to go live at 3, but it ends up being 3:30 when I go live. So I think I'm just going to set it for 3:30. We'll try that for a little bit, see how it works. And if that's, if that's a good time, yeah, Eastern. Till I move to Arizona. When I move to Arizona, we'll see what time I'll do it at then. It might be earlier. I might stick to the same timeline. Right. All right. So how can I bring, wait, we weren't finished talking about the other one. How do I receive no one? So the scattered. So the temple transmissions, they will land with this stillness, not with an urgency, right? Yeah, that's my soul called me to move to Sedona. I was never planning it, never had an idea to do it, but it just, my soul is calling me there. So that's where I'm going. I don't know when, I don't know how. I just believe that it's going to happen, and it's going to happen when it's meant to happen. And that's that. But that's, it would be ideal if it happened right now, because I have this place for the rest of this month and then August as well. But then he moves back here in September, the person that I'm renting from. And so I have to find another place for September. So it'd be just ideal if it was Arizona at that point in time, and everything's, everything was safe to go there. Everything is safe to go there. No, I'm fine. I'm fine. No, there's other I'll be fine. I'll be fine. I also make my own salves now and stuff like that, like my own skin care line and things like that. So I started just becoming a little homemaker here. You can't unfilter which one. I keep it. Oh, I didn't unfilter anything right now. Oh. So yeah, lost my train of thought. I got to get it back to me. Oh, yeah, I got that one. I did get that one. So yeah, so the I'm like, where was I? I'm like, my brain's like fried now. I'm like, where was I in this whole education? It's been all over the place. But that's okay. It's okay. That's how I like it. I'd rather have some interaction with people. No, that's not my point of going there. No. Anshara'El, my company Anshara'El, that's my whole mission. Anshara'El is not just it's not a company. Anshara'El is an energy, is a diva. Like when you think about, like, I don't know how to describe the energy, but it's my company is 4 years old now. So it's like it has its own energy. Right. What I plan to do there is all about my school. It's all about my, yeah, I will have lots of crystals. I'll use them in sacred rituals and rites and things like that. Like I'll definitely do crystal grids and things like that. But no, my whole thing is on Sha'Ryah. That is my whole, it's not a company. It's a life. It's a pathway. It's who I am. It's my mission. Right. Yeah. Like I do so many courses in education. Like honestly, I have a free group on my website. Go join it. The value that you guys are sleeping on when that group is dropping the stuff that it's dropping for free, right? The paid subscription groups that I have, they're not expensive for what you're getting in there. Like these are things that are all about your ascension pathway. There's so many other things like that I do, soul letters, soul oracle notes that I do for people, like voice notes. Oh my God, the education that I'm coming out with all the time, even the Bridge to Light program, like that program is an amazing program for people who are trying to overcome trauma and get to the space where they shed the victimhood and stand as a victor, that they're sovereign, right? Embodied. Soul letters. Yeah. Yeah, I channel your oversoul and your guide team, and I write a letter from them to you. So it's channeled through me, but it's from your higher self, from your oversoul. And technically it's your oversoul. And when we look at the Christic truth, there's no hierarchy. Your oversoul is your oversoul because it's what is overriding all of the soul expressions of yourself, of which there are 12 fractals. So in the 12 fractals of the oversoul, that is what, so it's that part of it. They're not your guides. Like I can tell you right now that there's a lot of work that I could do for you. I'm sure there is. I'm sure there's some process that I could take you, but I don't do things for free anymore like that. Right. I can check in and see what I could do for you at a level that's free energetically without tying myself up in any karmic thing. But I did a lot of changing in the last year. I spent the first 3 years of my company pouring myself out there, giving everything away for free, and to end up still having to beg or not beg, but to ask for donations to afford to pay my rent. Right. Like I was literally giving myself away, and then no one was respecting what I was giving. It's like the free group that I talk about, this beautiful free group, and people are sleeping on all of the value that's in that group, because a lot of times people think that because it's free, it has no value. And that's not true. Right? I used to sit on here 15 hours a week minimum. Right. And I did it for like $50 maybe a week, $150, I think was the most I made off of just like TikTok gifts in 1 week. Like I've been on here doing education for people and walked away, and it's like, you made a penny, and then you get out and TikTok goes, you get zero, because you can't have, right? They can't have a penny. So I'm not here for the, like, I know, like, that gets into a big conversation. there's an energetic exchange that should occur within the transaction. So I just stopped giving away things for free. I allow my soul to guide me in what I feel is something that I should give away for free, but I don't allow myself to overgive. I don't give from the space of lack. I do this because this is my mission. This is my soul's purpose. And the people that align with that, great. And the ones that don't, that's okay too, right? That's okay. And I just know that I'll be divinely taken care of no matter what, right? No matter what. Yeah. Yep. Yep. Yeah. I teach on here and on YouTube. I do it twice a week for free. I give lots of education. And it's all on my YouTube channel. You can go and rewatch the live videos. And there's so much education in those things. And the beautiful thing about rewatching the live too is that you can zip through it. I haven't got to the point where I'm time stamping the videos. I'll see what I can do to start doing that. But yes, there's so many courses that I have. Like I did a course, tried to run it twice. And that's because people talk about wanting sacred union. They wanted to have a course about sacred union. Because many of us are very relationship driven, which is where you know that you're operating from a space of unhealedness when you're driven through relationship dynamics. Because what you need to do is have a complete and whole relationship with yourself, and then you'll find the complete and whole relationship with someone else. But anyway, I put on a freebie for the Sacred Union course. That was about 90 minutes. I did it twice. One time I had one person show up for the free event. You got a guide before the event that went over the actual education that I was going to cover in the paid event. Plus you got a free guide the day that you showed up of the free course. So one person showed up to that and took advantage of all of it. All of it. And then I had the paid course. And because the thing is I know that and maybe this, like there's a lot of people out there that are ready to do this, and they just need to hear the message and find me. That's all it is. We're just looking for each other. I'm sending out the energy, and they're coming to me. But yeah, there's a lot of people out there that would they don't really want to do the work. They don't really want to do the actual practical part to move beyond wherever they are right now. It's easier to just continue in the patterns that they're in than to make those changes, which is unfortunate, but not my problem. I'm only responsible for me. We have come to that. We know that. We're very aware of that. The only thing I can do is take care of me. Yep. They just don't want to do the work at the end of the day. So it becomes like shelf help, right? I read the book, but it sits on the shelf. I didn't implement it in my life. Same thing with manifestation. When people wonder why their manifestations aren't working, it's probably because they're not doing the actual physical part of it. Because it's not just about thinking and kumbayaing. It's about doing the actual. There's the physical. We are in the physical, right? This is a physical body. It's our soul, right? Our soul. Our belief system, so our vision and our belief system and all of that has to align, but we still have to walk it in the physical form. We still have to do the embodiment part of it. Exactly. So how can I bring the temple silence into my daily life? So through intentional pauses, before speaking, decide if words are even necessary, right? Because like I said, we say way too much. Before reacting, breathe into the stillness. Okay. Hi, Denise. Designate sacred silence moments throughout the day. It could be a few breaths before meals. It could be a few breaths between tasks. It could be just a few breaths during your walk. Maybe you go on your walk. You know what I stopped doing, guys? I stopped listening to podcasts and stuff like that when I walk. I don't take earphones with me. I don't even remember the last time I put my headset in. I definitely don't use Bluetooth headphones because I just don't like radiating my brain, like literally frying it. I would use wired for health reasons. But I even stopped doing that. I go outside and I just interact with nature, and I'm just present in the moment and interacting with that. And it's so beautiful. And the more that you do those things, the more that you actually like them. 444, 444 on the time, guys. Angels and guides are present. They always are. So you want to let that stillness weave into motion. So it's the same thing with sacred union, where it's a flow and structure, the flow of the feminine and the structure of the masculine. And that sacred union that you're creating within yourself is the balance between those dichotomies, between those energies, right? To balance them within you. And the same thing is within this, is the balance between movement and stillness, the balance between speaking and silence, or just silence in general, and noise. So the most powerful truths are not shouted. They are felt in the hush between thoughts and in the peace between actions. And I just wanted to reiterate, most people fill the silence to avoid their own truths. I had to say that again. It's a beautiful one. Yeah, I walk my fur baby twice a day in silence, unless I'm talking to him or talking to the plants or the tree. I mean, I do sometimes talk to the plants, or I make bird sounds. I'll be out there trying to whistle like the birds. But sometimes I do practice just being quiet and just walking and honestly just being in silence and in feeling what's in the environment. And those are very beautiful walks. So we've got an invocation, and this oversoul invocation is, the temple rises in me now. So you're just going to repeat after me. And this is also in the free journal, the free companion journal. Do I know that who is what? Aw, that'll make you want to have one for sure. Get you used to it. It's the best way to do it. Yeah, I know. As soon as you said it, I was like, I'm pretty sure I know, but I don't care. She can't reach me. She can stalk me all she wants. That means she's behind me. And I have lots of protection in place. Not because I'm afraid, because I'm not. I don't. Fear is what gives the entrance, right? Fear is what opens the door. So let's do this invocation. Beloved Oversoul, I enter the silence as sanctuary. I return to the breathless space where only truth resides. I ask to hear with the ears of the soul. I ask to know what cannot be spoken. Oversoul, tune me to the language of light within stillness. Let me hear the guidance that arises without sound. Let the temple rise in me now. Let it speak in the spaces I once tried to fill. Let me become the vessel of silence, the echo of source. I walk as one who listens beyond the noise. I walk as one who speaks without sound. I walk as the temple in form. It is done. It is received. It is sovereignly sealed. So that's the front page of the journal that's in, or not the front page, the page after the cover, the first page, is that you get that invocation so you can repeat it. You also get, within that, you get another little opening invocation. So I enter the stillness, not to escape the world, but to rebuild it from truth. In the silence, I meet my essence. In the silence, I hear what love has always said. The journal prompts, what does silence feel like in my body today? Where in my life am I being invited to pause and listen before acting? When was the last time I received clarity through stillness rather than effort? What message is my inner temple whispering to me now? And what am I afraid I might hear if I became completely silent? So some powerful journal prompts in the journal. And then there's also your mantra: in silence, I remember; in stillness, I receive. I am the temple of truth. With the embodiment practice, silent sunrise, sit. Upon waking, before touching your phone or speaking to anyone, sit in stillness for 5 minutes. I made it only 5 instead of 6, but I did say 6 all morning or all afternoon. I did say 6 for the whole show. And just attune to the natural light and just listen. Listen with your body, listen with your ears, listen with your essence. You can also go on a temple walk. So go on a short walk without headphones, without devices or distractions, and just listen with your whole body. And then the third embodiment practice is a breath anchor. So with every hour, just pause and take 3 deep breaths into your belly and whisper that mantra silently within. And in silence, I remember; in silence, I receive. I am the temple of truth. So there's a seal for the practice, and the seal is to draw a circle. Inside it, you're going to place a dot and then surround the dot with 4 equidistant lines, so north, south, east, and west, that represent the temple. A still center anchored in all directions, and then place that seal somewhere where you'll see it often. And then the journal is your mirror of silence. Let it hold what words cannot. That's the journal that's available for free at the Temple of Light. Love you guys. So did that make sense? Right, you know what they was saying with the picture? Right, we're going to draw a circle. In the center of a circle, there's a dot, and then we're going to draw 4 lines out. Just like that. I hope you guys are all doing well. Yes. So how is everybody doing? What are your plans for Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday? I'll send her a message and say I'm live. Relaxing with the boys and the pups. Nice. Nice. Well, my mom was supposed to come up and spend, she's supposed to come up tomorrow and stay until Monday. But then my brother ended up needing her. Hi, Snea. Chilling at home. That's the best thing. I love this space here. Well, I'm going to be nursing my sourdough because it's a starter. It's my mother's starter. I'm so excited about it. Carol, I started sourdough today. Yesterday I made coconut yogurt. I'm telling Carol, I make something every day. I started making something new every day. I tried to do something different or new, or I'm so excited. So excited. Homemade sourdough. Yep. Yeah, this is the best kitchen that I've had in a long time. The best kitchen in a long time. Now, it's got it's great counters. There's 2 counters on each side. There's a little counter beside the stove, and then there's a big counter. So I had to turn my element off because I was cooking. I was cooking something. I had to turn it off. So anyway, thank you. Cute little flowers. Big counters and on both sides of the kitchen. So there's lots of space to actually cook, and then it's got, you know, the sink, they put it in the right direction so you can look out the patio doors. So that makes me happy. I hated being in my mom's house because anything that you were doing in the kitchen, you were staring at the wall. And it was just this little tiny, like, my mom had a space between her sink and the stove that you couldn't even have a dish rack. You know, those, the plastic trays that you would sit a dish rack on. It wouldn't even fit one of those in the space. It was that small. And then it had another space like that turned into like a tiny, so it was really, really tiny. And the wall was like, and you just stared at the wall. And I'm like, this is like not my idea of a good time. Not my idea of a good time at all. So yeah, this kitchen's awesome because I get to look outside and I get to see green and light, and I got all my plants on the, you know, on the bar that's there. It's just a stand for my plants. And like I said, then there's the 2 counters. It's a good countertop. And then there's also like the side table. Like it's a, one of those, it's a microwave stand, but it's not. It's actually one of those butcher block, you know, moving cabinets. A butcher block table thingy. I love it, but I won't cut on it because that's, you know, I don't know if he does that. I just use the little wooden cutting board that I have. How are you doing, Carol? Yeah, it's like a movable island, but like it's one of those really cool ones because it has like the hole in the center and it's just a big butcher's block. But he does like, he's got his microwave. He had his microwave on it. I took his microwave and pitched it in the back room, unplugged it and stuck it on a shelf. And I put my toaster oven there, my toaster oven / air fryer. Like, yeet, yeet. Out goes the microwave. Those things are terrible. I won't have one in my house at all. Clearly. Yeet. Mm-hmm. Yes. But yes, one of those good islands. If you used it the right way, it would be perfect. It'd be great I would have that. I would be using it though. That'll be my butcher's block for sure. Because it has the hole in the center so that you can have the, you know, so you can scoop all your cuttings in the center of the butcher's block. Mm-hmm. Yep. All right. You guys have a beautiful walk. I'm going to call it at 5. I told my maintenance guy he could come over and do the weed eating at 5. So I'm going to get off of here before he shows up to do. See, why would hearts not be allowed? That's just the silliest thing. It doesn't make any sense. I never filtered that stuff. Why is it taking my hearts away? Nice, nice. Yeah. So I'm going to hop off of here. I love you guys. Have a beautiful day. Kadial. Say it as fancy as I possibly can. Carol, I'll talk to you in a moment. And Damia, let me know when you're free to talk, when you're free to have a conversation, and we'll talk. Okay. I love you guys. Enjoy your Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. If I see you, it'll be a surprise. Love you, Edie. Have a beautiful day. And yeah, if I see you guys over the weekend, it'll be a surprise to all of us because I have no set intentions for that. But you never know. You never know. Clearly, I don't. But I love you guys. Go get the free journal. Go join the free site. Hello, Teresa. Mwah. I love you. I love you. Blessings to you. Go check out you're in the free thing. You're in the group. I'm like, you're in the free. You were smart. You joined the free. So you know to go get that. I might have to check out your live in a moment. But yeah, love you. You guys have a beautiful afternoon.